Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
I'm Jerry.
And I'm Linda, and this is Gizmo.
We're so glad you're with us today. Think we've got a killer show for you? You know, we have high hopes for every show. But this one has some really great questions and a few stinkers, too. So stay tuned till the end, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Thanks to everyone who subscribes to our channel. If you haven't done so, please press that button right now.
It really does help because with YouTube, it puts us in a different algorithm and gets our show out to more people. So subscribe, and if you follow us on Facebook, which is The Village's Newcomers, Jerry and Linda, if you will click that follow button, that really helps too. So many of you watch everything we do on there, but you've not clicked that follow button. Please do that for us. Today, you'll find out what is the truth about the villages. Now, that's an ominous question, but we had a real surprise the other day, and we're going to tell you about it.
Do we own the land that our homes sit on?
Yeah, that's a popular question. Another popular question today that we'll tackle is there enough fresh water for everyone in Florida?
And how do we find a good building lot north of 44?
I had that question myself when we came here. All that today. Hit it, Wally.
Send us your questions, we've got your answers. Jerry and Linda's Mailbag Monday.
I'd like to start by thanking everybody for the birthday wishes.
Yeah.
Holy cow, I was overwhelmed, and it's wonderful. It still just boggles my mind that so many of you would take the time to actually type me out a little birthday wish.
Yeah.
It's so good, so thank you all.
Oh, we had a great Thanksgiving too. I hope you all did too. We had our house full of people and grandkids, and it was commotion and motion, and man.
It was. And we had 71% of our kids and grandkids here,
Yeah.
and daughters-in-law, so we had a really good time. Hope you did too. It's too late for the brownwood tree lighting, but every year they have these celebrations here in the villages where they have a big tree lighting ceremony. Those trees are awesome. And the village's entertainment puts these on, and you missed Brownwood, but you can still join in with Sumter Landing and Spanish Springs. You can check out Sumter Landing on November 29th or Spanish Springs on December 2nd. A lot of holiday stuff going on in the villages. You can spend Christmas Eve with Scooter and some other things, and I think we're going to try to go there and do that. He really puts on a show. We saw him last week at Brownwood.
We did.
And that place was packed. We took the grandkids over there and they had a really good time.
Yeah, it was very crowded for Thanksgiving weekend, so we enjoyed that. We found out more about the lady who won on the Price is Right show 46 years ago.
Yeah, that was a real shock. In 1976 she was on, and she sent us a letter. And we read the letter, and I wrote back to her and said, hey, if you send us a picture of yourself, we'll put it on. Well, it turns out we know her.
We do.
We did not realize it because she didn't sign that email.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was Sandy from our cruise.
Yeah.
Sandy and Al went with us on the last cruise that we did.
It was fun.
And she was on The Price is Right. Here's a picture of her today. And here's a picture of her from back on The Price is Right. And she's the one we told you about that won the dune buggy.
Wow, what fun.
Yeah, thanks, Sandy, for sending that in.
We want to thank the faithful viewers that send us those super thanks.
That super thanks comes in handy, and I think you heard a while ago, these lights have been going on and off while we're here. What's up with that? And we're going to have to get 2 new lights.
Just for backup.
Yeah, thank you. The weather has been, how they say, ooh la la. It has been so good, and the temperatures have been 60s at night, 75, 80 in the day. This week it's in the low 80s. It's what you want. It's what they put on the postcards.
Yeah, it's been quite cloudy, but there's been periods of sunshine, but it's just lovely weather right now.
I like the cloudy days, you know, being all fair-skinned and everything. And the weather in Florida can differ a lot from up in Destin, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Panama City. That's in the upper part. We live in the middle, and then Miami's down lower. That's 450 miles or so north to south, so you have a lot of different temperatures. And we get chilly in the wintertime, like we said last week. Miami stays a little bit warmer. But if you're up in the panhandle, you're going to have some real chilly
Yeah,
days.
you'll be cold.
But right now, super good.
And guess what we've seen in Brownwood, you guys? The tower is back, the windmill and the Brownwood Tower. What is that?
The water tower.
Oh. Okay, let's start again.
It is.
And we are so excited because in Brownwood, the water tower is back and the windmill. I was excited to see that.
I wasn't so excited, but it is cool. We did a show when they decided to tear it down because it had become a danger. The old wood was, I wouldn't say rotting, but it was deteriorating, and that thing's very top heavy, so they took it out, and some residents were really upset. We did a show on it.
Yeah.
Some residents said, who cares? And there was a big debate on who was going to pay for it. They're back up. We'll find you the exact funding source at a later date, but there's a little bit smaller windmill, I think.
I'm not
Looks smaller
sure.
to me.
I'm not sure. I didn't take any measurements,
It's
but
cool,
I'll tell
though.
you one thing: the ambience of it makes it just. I love it. I really
Could
love
you
it.
get a measurement next week?
Next, I'm gonna climb to the top. So we're very grateful to have those back in our town square.
It's that time.
For shout outs.
We met Seal and Ken Schroeder over at Eisenhower. We bumped into them. They were giving a tour to some of their relatives. They are just the nicest people.
They were.
That picture's not so good because the sun was behind and it's all I did the best I could on it.
Tessie and Lee will be here for a lifestyle visit on the 7th, and they live in Ohio near Lake Erie. And they're looking forward to getting down here to warmer weather. And this is a photo of them in France.
France.
Wow.
That Lake Erie, I know they get that lake effect up there.
Yeah.
I bet it's some cold weather right about now.
Yeah.
This is Joe Cordero. Now, he's from New Bedford, Massachusetts. He flagged us down one day. We're driving our golf cart and we're hearing a horn. I thought it was.
And of course I said, "What'd you do wrong, Jerry?"
Yeah, I said, of course, I thought I had cut somebody off or who knows what, and my traffic cop on board was taking care of it. But no, he flagged us down and just wanted to say hello. He had recognized us. Such a nice fella. He was the police chief up there for years and spent 35 years on the police force.
Wow.
And we always back the Blues, so we're always wanting to shout out to our great police officers out there. This is Connie and Mitch Baker. They're coming for a lifestyle visit in December. He's a lawyer, says he's going to take that Florida bar exam. I hope we don't need a lawyer.
Hope so. Hold on.
But if we do, now I'm going to call Mitch.
We got one. Got a name.
This is Kathy and Dave Voles. They're from Western New York, where it's snowy. They're up on the bandstand there. Your lovely granddaughter sent us that picture, and we're happy to give you a shout out because she said you probably wish you were here.
Alex is a college student from New Jersey and wrote and asked us a shout out to his parents and grandparents, Frank Jr., Kathy, and Frank III, and Suzanne for Christmas.
Yeah, he said that the older couple is not that keen on getting their picture taken, but we have a picture of his mom and dad here. And he said he can't emphasize how much they love watching our channel. And I hope you're watching it right now.
Yeah. And now it's time for Viewer of the Week.
It's Ray Herford.
Woohoo!
Ray is now a friend of ours, and he lives down in the St. Catherine area. He's the gentleman that puts on those wonderful block parties down there.
So much fun.
Yeah, we've been down there a couple of times, and it's just a great, great time, and we appreciate him so much. Ray, thank you. I know you can't have many more block parties because of the amount of noise and confusion that was generated down there, according to some people, but we had a great time, and we thank you for being our Viewer of the Week.
Thanks to all our super... Here we go.
That light's out. That was terrible. But I mean, 2 point. Why?
We want to thank the super viewers. No, we don't. Faithful. You're doing great.
No, I'm not. My eyes are closed. Now they're ready. What's going on with the lights?
That was a weaving and a waving.
Then that light's out.
Thanks, and oh, come on.
Throw it.
Yeah.
Totally, my train just went off the track. Let's get down to business.
This is from Billy. You've talked about some cold temperatures in Florida. What do you do when the mercury drops? Do you just cover up or do you turn on your heat? If you have heat, what kind is it?
That's a good question. That's Billy. Doesn't mind the cold one bit, he said. Well, we have not, this is, we're right at knocking at the door on December.
Right.
And we have not had our heat on yet. And we've had some temperatures in the 40s.
We have had in the 40s, we did.
But nothing below that. And we will turn on our heat when it gets, chilly, but we haven't really felt it yet.
No. We might have a few blankets and we'll cuddle up in blankets, but we're not cold yet.
Cuddle up.
We might cuddle up in the blankets.
Everybody we know has a heat pump. And they're very efficient in Florida. Now in Indiana, that heat pump wasn't so efficient. Because when the temperature got below 30, that toaster would kick on, and man, that electric meter would just start spinning.
Yep.
And we did have gas heat up there as well. We had big utility bills up in Indiana.
Yeah.
Here, not too bad, and that heat pump works just fine.
This is also from Billy. At what age do people start to smell? What does he mean by that? Pew, you stink. My grandmother's home has a real odd smell. I can't stand it. Oh my goodness.
Billy, I think you are the stinker. That's terrible.
Oh, poor grandma.
But I gotta admit, Billy, I've noticed it myself. When we built a house, our first house, we bought a house when we got married, 1978. What a rat trap. It was a little bitty, but it was nice. It was a love nest.
It was our first bungalow.
And 4 or 5 years later, we built our first house. And when we built it, we stayed in her grandma's house, who was in a nursing home. And I noticed that smell you're talking about.
Well, that house happened to have been built in 1900s. It did go through the 1937 flood, Ohio River. So you know what? It probably did have an old smell. And you know what? During those times back in the day, they would have 9 or 10 people that would live in that house, or maybe even more. They would have 4 or 5 in each bedroom back in the day.
Well, Billy, we haven't noticed any smells from the people down here, so I think you'll be fine if you want to come down and visit or something.
I don't think we smell.
Tim says, God bless America. And then he goes on to say, there's no way on earth I would ever sink that kind of money into a house where I don't even own the land that sits on. Y'all are crazy. Well, I tell you, Tim, what's crazy is writing a letter like that when you don't know the facts. We do own the land that our homes sit on here, all this much of it. Yeah. We've got tiny little lots, but they're ours.
It's all ours.
And that's why we pay to have the grass cut and the sprinklers fixed. If we lived in a condo or somewhere that didn't belong to us, we wouldn't pay those outdoor things. But
right.
Here we have the pleasure of paying for the outdoor maintenance.
We have the pleasure. This is from Chris and Shelley. We want a home in the Sumter Landing area, but don't want an older home. How can we find a building lot in that area? An agent said all the lots for sale are way down in the undeveloped area. We don't want that. There's got to be a few. Work your magic.
When we came here 4 years ago, more than 4 now, for our lifestyle visit,
Yeah.
I asked our agent, come on, we like north of 44. Show us a lot that we could build a house on. And he said there aren't any. And I remember very distinctly that I said, come on.
He did.
In a place this big, you know that there's one lot somewhere that's been overlooked, that somebody bought years ago, that they didn't build on, an open lot between some other. Anyway, he said, no, there's not. And he is 100% right. Every lot here is already built on. We've had people say, don't be so positive about the villages. We don't want all those people down here. Well, they can't come in where there's not a house
Right.
or not a building lot. You know, they're only coming on the places and they sell out. So we're not attracting any more people, but I think we're putting information out there for people that are interested. You know,
And isn't there a law or something about if you buy a lot, you have to build on it within
That's
a
right.
certain amount of time? So there are no lots that are just standing there waiting for years and years for somebody. No.
no, that was possible back in Indiana. You could, and different places had different rules, but here, within a year, you've got a house
Yeah.
on a lot. And I wish, when we bought, I wished that there was one up here. I would like to have designed my own home
Right.
and built a home, but there weren't any. But thank goodness we found this house because we absolutely love it.
This is from Tyler James from Rochester, Minnesota. My neighbor and I were talking, and he said that Florida is facing a freshwater crisis. He said that in a few years there will be too many people and not enough fresh water. Is that true? Are you concerned?
Tyler, that's a popular question. That happens. And the thing about Florida is it's very popular. And people from New York and Wisconsin and Minnesota and California, they're moving here at record numbers. I read an article by WGCU, and Tom Bales authored it, and it was called, Does Florida Have Enough Drinking Water to Keep Up with Our Growing Population? And like we said, that's a popular question because hundreds of new residents are coming here every day. I feel like hundreds are coming to the villages every day,
Yeah.
but that's not true. But there are a significant number that do come here. And will they someday overwhelm that water supply? So we looked at this article by WGCU, and I looked up some others as well, but I'm only quoting this finding in our work today. It's all about water, and let's be clear that there is the same amount of water on Earth today as there was a million years ago. That doesn't change. But how much of it is potable water? Last week I said potable, and some of the viewers said it's potable. I know that, but you say patata, and I say potato. Right?
Tomato.
Yeah, but anyway, 97% of the Earth's water is salt water. Another 2.5% is locked into those big glaciers.
Yeah.
Other places, you know, it's too deep or too polluted. So the amount of crystal clear, good water is limited. That's less than 1% of the Earth's fresh water that is available for humanity. Enough water to ski on when it's frozen and to swim when it's warm and to drink. Enough to make water balloons for every birthday party, to put on the crops in every farmer's field, and to use to make concrete, to create roads and buildings.
Right.
That 1% fresh water has been enough historically to get the job done. So the people are worried with the population boom, is it going to be enough? We can live for weeks without food, but we can only live days without water. So clear water, clean water, pure water is important. And from the research we've done, people are not overly concerned that Florida is going to run out of drinking water. You can do your own research and write to us if you find something different. With all the new residents coming to Florida, we hope that's correct. Bob and Dolly from Boston, Massachusetts have a very similar question. They say all that building just outside the bubble is hitting the aquifer pretty hard. Do you worry about an increase of sinkholes? Well, we don't see too many sinkholes.
No.
People like to talk about sinkholes,
Yeah.
but there aren't too many. We've seen a couple in 4 years, maybe 4 or 5. Nothing big, nothing devastating. But there are sinkholes everywhere. Like we've said before, you know, we've talked about sinkholes many times. We had lots of sinkholes in Indiana. So we don't dwell on it, we don't think about it. We do carry insurance. Or do you call it insurance? What do you say? We're always worried about everything. You know, we're worried about tornadoes, we're worried about hurricanes, we're worried about sinkholes. How often do they really happen? Not too often.
Yeah.
We just carry insurance and hope for the best.
Right. So what's the truth about the villages?
Yeah, I told you we would be talking about
What's
that.
the truth?
I was just doing my thing, just looking at the news. And there are a couple local news sources here, the Villages Daily Sun and the villagesnews.com. And I happened to see a headline from the villagesnews.com that said, "So what's the truth about the Villages?" And I thought, well, this would be good. I'll look at this. Boom, there was a picture of us, just like this. Now, I didn't give them that picture, and I don't know why it's on there, so I read the article. And it's basically a gripe letter from a reader. We watch the Villages Newcomers with Jerry and Linda every Tuesday and most Thursdays. They constantly talk up how great the lifestyle is and all the friendly neighbors. There's always the disclaimer, don't take our word for it. They seem to be an honest couple. Still, one would think that if things are as bad as the comments I've been reading of late, they'd be addressing it to some detail rather than dismissing it as pretty much the fringe. Can you perhaps contact them, as in us, with the actual examples of number of disgruntled people? Well, first of all, I don't know how you would ever get a number of disgruntled people.
Are you disgruntled? Are you disgruntled? How about you?
But that was surprising to see that they watch our show, but they think that we should give more bad news. We obviously are a feel-good channel, right?
Yeah.
And we love what we're doing, and we love where we live,
Right.
and we love the people we encounter. We don't dwell on the negatives. We try to spread positivity.
Right.
This particular newspaper is a great source of information. So is the Daily Sun. I've noticed more negativity seems to be in the Villages News, and we don't add to the negativity. But if that water smelled bad, if the garbage pickup was too loud and noisy, and I couldn't sleep in it, I would tell you. If we smelled the aroma from the landfill, I would tell you. And I always tell you, it's hot. It's really hot. And I believe this young lady right here has mentioned waiting in line for those activities.
Yep.
She cusses. So we tell you,
Yeah.
but the truth of the matter is most of that griping is done by people that don't live here. If you come here and visit a lifestyle stay or you come here and live, you might have a different outlook. Is it perfect? Nope. Will we tell you when it's not perfect? Yeah. But you just need to come and see for yourself. Quit being a keyboard warrior.
We have a big dog. He weighs more than 100 pounds. He's a Great Dane and gentle as a baby. Is there any limit to the size of a dog that we can bring with us? We had a Great Dane one time. He was gentle. He was lovely.
He was a fantastic dog. My God, he was a champion
Yes.
bloodline.
Yes.
His name was Zorro. Remember Zorro? That dude was cool. Zorro von Meistersinger. He was part of the Meistersinger Great Danes from Louisville, Kentucky. And he was a beast. He was big and he was gentle. He was
would
friendly.
back up and sit on the couch.
That was back when we cropped the ears on Great Danes. Remember that?
Yep.
We took him and had him professionally cropped and we taped him up, and that's called inhumane today, but
Yeah.
boy, it sure looked cool. We loved that dog, but you know what? We gave him away
Yeah.
because he was gentle, as she said. But we had a newborn baby who is 40 years old now.
And yes, and we had a small little bitty house when we first got married, and Zorro's tail would whip things off tables.
Knock the lamps off tables, hit the baby and knock him off. So we gave him away. But that hurts when you give away a loved member of your family like a dog like that. But that was probably not a good choice when we bought him. You need to investigate your dog choices. That would have been a better place to have a Chihuahua.
Maybe so.
A little bitty place.
Yeah.
But yes, you can have a Great Dane here. You can have a St. Bernard here. You could have an Irish Wolfhound here.
We know a couple that has 2 Great Danes.
You know, we go after this guy. Look at him.
He's chilling
so
today.
chill.
Well, he's recuperating from Thanksgiving weekend.
But you know, he has nice, modest little dumps, and they're easy to pick up. You have a Great Dane. You're gonna have to take a snow shovel on your walk.
Who's got a snow shovel in Florida?
Melissa, Marty, and Bella have a question. They ask, we heard there are a lot of young adults wandering around the villages, mostly in the squares. Has this been your experience? And if so, is it well received by those in the community?
Yeah. Well, we've been to the squares this weekend, a couple of them during Thanksgiving, and you know what? I enjoyed seeing those young children there and the young adults. I enjoyed watching them dance. They were having a good time. I really like seeing them in the squares.
Yeah, we enjoy it, and
Yeah.
the squares are wide open.
Yeah.
You know that. You don't have to live in the villages to come and enjoy that free music. You can just come and
And they're
bring
not,
your family.
They're
and
not
that's what-
unruly or anything like that.
Well, I mean, they could be, but generally well behaved. Just dancing, just having a good time. I mean, you don't come down there to have a bad time.
No.
Except when Mr. Alcohol gets involved, you know.
Yeah.
But the kids aren't drinking, right?
no.
Kids are well behaved. It's good. We love kids.
Yeah.
We're teachers. We miss kids. We took our grandchildren there twice this week and had a good time. We had some comments about Gizmo,
Aw.
that he's not comfortable.
Oh.
He's 14 years old almost.
Wanna get up?
He likes a good nap, just like his daddy.
And
And he
Mommy-
lays back here just waiting, and people say, give him a pillow to put his head on. He usually puts it right on my arm there.
Yeah.
And he relaxes. But anyway, he works hard when he's not on camera, coming up with these jokes, and he told me to thank you for sending him some. And do you have some for us this week? All right, take it away.
I just finished college. Yep, sure did. I spent $150,000 for a degree in archaeology. Now my life is in ruins. My life is in ruins. Get it? Ruins? What's the deal with pets? Everybody seems to have a pet. I thought I'd get one, so I got a pet termite. I named him Clint. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. You know, Dad always comes up with harebrained ideas, and this time he said he's going to buy a boat. I said, Dad, how do you justify buying a boat? And he said, there was a sale. A sale. Oh, well. Hey, everybody, thanks for sending in the jokes. I really need them, and I really do appreciate them. See you next week.
Good job, buddy. Good job. No wonder you're tired. We sure appreciate you coming along with us today. We hope you enjoyed the questions and answers, Gizmo's jokes, our shout outs. We had a good time bringing it to you. And if you stay tuned right after this, you're going to see a link to one of our, right there, to one of our very best shows.
If you liked our video today, please press that like and subscribe button and share it with all your friends. Until next time.
See you when you get here.